Hello everybody, this is Shady here, and for today's video I want to talk about infinitely replayable games. And by this I mean games that are pretty much always in your rotation, ones that you're always going to play. You know, for me, I can play these games every other year to every year and just never get bored of them. And you know, I love them as much as I do the first time I played them. First game I want to talk about is Sonic the Hedgehog. Obviously, I don't have an actual copy of the game on Genesis, but I have the Ultimate Mega Drive collection, which includes Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, 3, not Sonic and Knuckles, and a bunch of other classic Mega Drive games. I think this was called Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection in America, but obviously we just call it the Mega Drive Collection because Mega Drive is what it was called here. And yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, what can I say about this game? This was basically meant to be, you know, or it was Sega's answer to Mario. It was the reason to pick up the system. In fact, they bundled it in the actual console itself because that's what people needed for the Genesis. You know what I mean? It was that big a deal. It was a system seller. Yeah, you know, Sonic 1 isn't as good as the other 2D games, you know, 2, 3, Knuckles and Mania, but it's still really solid. I like it. To this day, obviously, there's newer versions. This probably isn't the version I will go to. You know, I'll probably go to, like, you know, the collection in the Genesis collection, the latest one they did, or Origins collection, I think it's called, or like the mobile version, the one that adds like the spin dash and the other characters and all that. But it's still really solid. Straightforward game, really beautiful level design, amazing music. Sonic has just always had great music. And yeah, it's just a game I can, as soon as I just hear that Green Hill Zone music, I'm in the zone and I'm just playing that game. That is my like next hour to 2 hours or whatever. And yeah, it's just a solid game. You know, you can't go wrong with it. Next up, this is we're going to shoot over a few decades, and I'm going to talk about Dark Souls. This is obviously the PS3 version. There's many other versions of this game. The Prepared to Die Essentials Edition. Just a great freaking game. You know, obviously Demon Souls came first, which was kind of the progenitor of the Soul series, and this game just kind of perfected it in my opinion. And it's very interesting because not until like Elden Ring did they do another game similar to this, because the other ones you select the different levels, and this one you just have this big world you can explore. You can kind of do things in a non-linear fashion. There's so much you can do as long as you're good enough. You can take on like bosses that you really shouldn't have any right to, and there's like all kinds of cool shenanigans and glitches you can do, jumps that allow you to break the game. And there's just so much to this game. It's just so nostalgic. It's just, you know, as soon as I hear that opening cutscene, where there's the narration about Gwen and, you know, in the dark there was nothing or whatever, you know how it goes. It's just a great cutscene, and an amazing game. Obviously it's very challenging. Dying is kind of a part of the game. That's why it says Prepare to Die Edition. Prepare to Die. Again, as it says on the back, that's the tagline of the game, because you're meant to die and you're meant to learn the game and get hard. I know that, you know, it's not everyone's cup of tea, this type of game, but you should definitely give it a chance. Hopefully it'll grow on you as well. Just a strong action RPG, one of the best. You know, basically this Demon Souls was first, like I said, but this is the game that kind of put From Software on the map pretty much. And yeah, they've gone from strength to strength, and can't wait to see what they do next. Awesome game. Next up, one that I think is pretty obvious, Devil May Cry 1. I've got the entire HD collection here for PS3. It's also available for PS4 and Xbox as well, 360 and 1, and PC as well. And also I think 1 and 2 also on the Switch as well. But yeah, just a great game. Devil May Cry 1 is so awesome. I'm sure everyone knows this by now. It's kind of common knowledge, but obviously it was the original concept for Resident Evil 4, but became too much of its own thing. And then just turned into a whole new series, Devil May Cry. We're playing as Dante, Demon Slayer, who is this lady comes into his kind of office because he's a demon slayer by trade as well. He does it for a living, which is amazing. I love that as a part of the logic of the universe. And then she basically says, the Demon King Mundus has revived. We need to go to Malaya Island to beat him. And it feels almost like a very heavily inspired by Castlevania, because Mundus is essentially like Dracula, and you're preventing him from being revived, and you have to stop him, and you have to fight his kind of lords, if you will, the bosses, Phantom Griffin, Nightmare, and obviously the other Nia Angelo as well. But it's just a solid game. Like for a game, an early PS2 action game, it's pretty amazing. It kind of created the whole hack and slash character action game genre, really, and it really holds up well. Like, they definitely improved the combat in later games like 3, 4, 5, but this is still really good, and I think it's definitely worth playing. And it's the reason why I always go to it. You know, it's just one of the games, again, like, when I put it on, I'm just playing it. It's just such a great game. So nostalgic. Next up, yeah, I've got to talk about this. Final Fantasy VIII. This is obviously the PS4 version. Originally was on PS1. Yeah, it's just a classic game, you know. I love this particular version, by the way, as well. It's still sealed. I have a digital copy. I just wanted to pick up the physical version because I just love this game so much. I'm one of those crazy people who buy multiple copies of games that I love. Call me insane, I know. You know, as collectors, that's just what we're like. But yeah, it's just a great game. Obviously, this is an interesting one because, you know, there's people who say this game isn't great, or there's the kind of, you know, typically you'll find the Final Fantasy VII fans will say this isn't that great, but don't listen to that. It's a really solid game. It has a weird system, the junction system, but it's just really cool. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but yeah, you know, it's worth it because it's got a really solid story. So obviously we have Squall, who's the main character, this guy here. You see him in the back there with the sword. He's a part of this mercenary training, mercenary kind of school called Balamb Garden. And then he gets kind of forced into this plot where he has to try to defeat the sorceress and kind of save the world, pretty much. You know, typical kind of JRPG thing, but has its own twists. Has a world very similar to ours in a way, very beautiful world, modern world, if you will. And yeah, it's just sort of, it's the soundtrack in this game, the visual design, everything, it's really great. And it has one of my favorite, if not the best, in my opinion, final dungeon in any Final Fantasy game. And like, when I get to that moment, it gives chills, you know, it sends chills down my spine. The nostalgia hits different, you know. But yeah, it's a great game. Next up, got mentioned again in the Metal Gear series, and that is Metal Gear Solid 3. Not my favorite. 2 is still my favorite of all of them. My favorite game of all time, in fact, is Metal Gear Solid 2. But 3 is amazing as well. And what I love about this game is it was so unique because it kind of had a semi kind of open environment. You had to like manage your stamina. You had to kind of hunt food or like animals and plants to eat. You had to do, you know, had this eat mechanic to revive your stamina, because if your stamina's too low, then you won't heal and it will affect you in battle. And it was just a really cool game. This version's amazing. Obviously, we've got the remake coming up, but this was basically a remake before remake. This was essentially re-released for the 3DS, one of the early releases. And this one basically gives it the controls of like Peace Walkers and MGS4, pretty much. So it's like literally the best version of the game for now, until that remake comes out. Doesn't perform as well. The frame rate is a bit hit and miss here and there, but I think it's worth it for those controls. You're going to need a Circle Pad Pro or new 3DS though to really experience the game properly. But yeah, it's just amazing. One of the best. Yeah, I just love the setting, the gameplay, everything. It's just great. It's one of the best games ever. And last but not least, I'm sure everyone knows this, but it's friggin' Resident Evil Remake. I've got like 2 playthroughs of this game on my channel. I'll probably do more over the years, you know. It's just a solid game. I literally play this every year, I think, at least once. It's just a great game. This is the original GameCube version. And as you know, it's available on like everything now. You can buy it on every modern platform. So there's no reason for you to not play this game. But what I love is just, you know, takes the original game and just amps it up. It's like the perfect version of the original Resident Evil style with the fixed camera angles and the, you know, tank controls, all that stuff. Don't let that put you off. A lot of people are like, oh, tank control suck, I can't deal with it. But, you know, the newer versions give you the option for the analog controls for 3D motion. So that shouldn't even be an issue now. So controls are not a problem. Even though I think the game was kind of designed around that control scheme because the fixed camera angles. Yeah, it's really great. The sound design, the look of the game. I mean, it's still a freaking beautiful game. They could re-release the game again in 4K and it would still look absolutely stunning. Like, match up with games of today, in my opinion. There's a lot of people who would love to see another Resident Evil remake. I hope that happens. I don't mind if it doesn't, because this game is perfect for me. But yeah, I would love that. They are teasing a new Resident Evil remake as well, so I don't think it's going to be this one. Probably Code Veronica or 5, but you know, it's still great. And yeah, it's a great game. And like I said, all these games are so nostalgic. But anyone sees this video, I'd love to hear your games as well. I think we all have this as gamers, the games that are just like the ones that mean something to us, and you know, we can just continue playing countlessly, whether it's for nostalgic reasons or just because we love that particular game. You know, like for example, Resident Evil, it's just such a fast game to go through. Same with Sonic, that it makes it so replayable, and you know, it's just timeless in my opinion. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next one. If you watch this video, you know, like and subscribe if you want usual YouTube stuff. I'm a hobbyist, so it doesn't matter too much, but you know, it still, you know, shows me a bit of love and gives me more reason to continue uploading. So anyway, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you.